Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking your valuable time to be with us this afternoon. We hope this is going to be both entertaining and informative. My name is George Hurst. As Dan mentioned, I'm with Coal Banker Commercial NRT. Short time I've been there. I've been about 2 or 3 months. Prior to that, I was a broker with a company called European Equities Corporation. We're brokers and developers. And prior to that, we extend back a few years, it was a company called Sunbelt Realty back in 2000, 2001 through 2006 when they closed the company. So that's kind of my background, recent background. Been fortunate to have been exposed to a lot of commercial real estate, some development, met a lot of real fine people, and real excited about this business. Even in today's market, I'm still excited. And I'm the opening act, and you know what they say about opening acts? Let the buffoon get up there first and make a fool of himself and get everybody relaxed, and the people that know what they're talking about will get up next and speak. How many brokers do we have in the room? Raise your hands. Remember the good old days when the phones used to ring? That was fun times. The phones were ringing out, it was great. Speaking of the term broker, did you know that broker is derived from the word broke? There's broker, and then there's brokers. We hope we're not going to derive into the word brokers at this point in time, but that's yet to be determined on. Things have been kind of tough in the last couple of years in the real estate business. And to give you an example, I just want to tell a little bit of a story. There's this gentleman, I'll call him Mr. Ferguson. And Mr. Ferguson one day finds himself in court in front of the judge, and he's accused of killing and consuming a bald eagle, a national symbol. Very serious offense. The judge looks at him and says, Mr. Ferguson, I don't understand. Why would you do something like that? It's a federal offense. The judge says, how do you plead? He says, I'm guilty, Your Honor, I'm guilty. But there's some extraneous circumstances. May I please explain? The judge says, all right, let the court hear what you have to say. Well, Judge, for 23 years I was with the same company. Right out of college. Worked really hard to build myself up a corporate ladder. Doing really well. Living the American dream. A couple years ago they made me manager over several departments. My wife and I celebrated, bought a new house in a gated community, a couple new cars, put our kids in private school. Then the economy tanked. And Judge, we started downsizing, and I was let go, given 60 days notice, out the door. All of a sudden I'm standing there, looking around, and I'm thinking, I don't have a job. After 23 years, I'm out. I don't have an income, I don't have a job. What's gonna happen? Well, my house went into foreclosure, lost my house. Repo company came out, took the 2 cars. My wife couldn't stand it. She divorced me, took the furniture, the kids. She even took my dog. So I had nothing. I mean, I had no place to live and nothing to eat, Judge. And I'm out, and what did I do? So I built myself a little cardboard and wood shack, and I'm living out in some woods east of town. That's what I've been doing. One day I'm sitting there against a tree, I'm feeling sorry for myself, and this big bird just lands this tree above me, and I said, wow, that's an eagle. And I saw a stone in front of me, I said, picked it up, I said, why not? Picked it up and I heaved it as hard as I could, and I hit that bird right in the head, knocked it dead on the ground. And I thought, oh Lord, what have I done? I just killed an eagle. But Judge, I couldn't help myself. I defeathered the bird, skinned it, and cooked it and ate it. The judge says, oh Lord, that's terrible. There's a serious offense, but in this case, I'm going to withhold adjudication. Mr. Ferguson, you're free to go. Thank you, Judge. Starts to walk down the stand. The judge says, oh, by the way, Mr. Ferguson, what's a bald eagle taste like? Turns around and says, oh, like a spotted owl. I was going to say, if you're a developer, you're going to think it's funny. If not, you're going to think I'm nuts. That's the way. So where are we? Well, we're pretty much just short of dead stop right now. Commercial real estate sales are off about 80%. As I mentioned, phones don't ring. Things are tough. There are properties that are still moving, owner-occupied properties, if someone can afford it. There are bank REOs or something, but the general real estate investment market is off considerably. And today I'm going to kind of relate a little bit about where we are how we got there and where we're gonna go. I'm trying not to bore you, I got a couple more jokes in involved, try to keep it light. As I mentioned, transactions are mostly owner-occupied or REOs. Rents are falling, vacancy rates are increasing considerably. We're going to be suffering from the bubble that took place in 2005, 6, and 7, primarily in 2006. Long-term permanent financing in commercial real estate is a misnomer. And when you buy a house and you go out and get a 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay the same payment, same interest for 30 years. You pay it off and you get the house. Commercial real estate is different. The banks are going to want to know how that property is performing. They're going to want to know every 3 to 5 to 7 years, depending upon the term. So if you project out from 2006 and looking at next year, which is just around the corner, a lot of properties are going to be falling in default because of unemployment, because of increasing vacancy rates, reduced rents. The banks are going to say, hey, these properties are not looking good. You know, we're going to probably have to take them back. So it's a drop in the asset, of the cost of the asset. It brings additional costs to the buyers when the lender has to take it back, which they don't want. We'll cover that in just a minute. There's two types of difficulties involved with it. One's called a credit risk, which is basically insufficient cash flow to service the debt. And credit contraction or economic downturn, which is what we're in right now. In 2006, I mentioned, that bubble year, we just had absolute meteoric prices going out of sight. I'm sure you were at parties with different people and say, hey, I was flipping houses. I did 2 this past week. I made myself 40 grand. Didn't even go to contract on it. Got an option, sold the option. Didn't have to close on them. Happening all the time. Commercial real estate wasn't quite that way, but bankers and developers were caught up in a dream. No one thought that there was going to be any end to the price increases. It was going to keep going up. However, it was all in artificial inflation. Obviously, it did. It reached an end. Due to a number of things. A lot of it was due to very, very lax underwriting standards with the banks. They wanted these things to happen. If you look at this chart, and this is talking about the number of interest-only commercial loans that banks were granting, starting here in 2000, working our way up to 2006, 2007. 2007 is almost 60% of commercial mortgages were interest-only loans. 60%. Obviously, that makes the pro forma look a little better. You know, when you're adding your cash flow, you don't have to service the debt because you're just paying the interest to the loan. However, in 2006, for example, a group buys a retail center and they paid $12.5 million for it. Put down $2.5 million. Bank grants them a $10 million loan. Great, things are going good. The bank feels that things are going to continue to go up. They're basing their loan approvals on pro forma, not actual, but because they feel that it's gonna never discontinue. It's gonna continue to go up. If the rents aren't there now, in 2 years they're gonna be another $10 a square foot. Hey, we're gonna grant loan. We're gonna give you an interest-only loan. Things looking good. Faulty underwriting standards, faulty appraisals is all part of it. Caught up in this dream and wanted to do so. So the guys that paid the $12.5 million to the retail center, put down $2.5 million. Got a $10 million mortgage, 2006, that's coming for review 1 year from today. Chances are that facility, instead of worth $12.5 million, is probably going to be worth $8 million next year. Now, they owe $10 million on it, interest only. The bank's not going to refinance 100% of the value next year of $8 million. They're probably going to refinance maybe 60, 65%. Let's say they refinance $5 million of that. They agree to. There's a $10 million owed on it. They're going to refinance $5 million and say, hey, good, guys, here, give us $5 million bucks. We'll refinance the loan. What are the buyers going to do? They're going to go up with $5 million and refinance it? Chances are not. Bank's going to have a property. Do they want the property? No, they don't want it. This is happening time and time and time again. We're going to see this happening more and more coming up.